energy surrounds us and binds us.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to episode 25 of the Carbonite Convos Podcast. If this is your first time joining us, you have just taken your first step into a larger world. And for those of you, again, who are tuning in with us week by week, we appreciate your support and thank you for coming back for another episode. Today, I am joined by Alec Porterfield, aka Wallcrawler Pops on Instagram, and one of my best friends, Alec. We ready for tonight? It's going to be a fun one.
Yeah, dude, we actually, we came up with this idea a little while back, and it's been something we've wanted to talk about for a while now. So
Definitely. And we are joined by what's your Twitter name again? Vinny Bricks?
Vinny Bricks, baby.
Vinny Bricks. Colton, how we doing today, man?
Good, brother. Just got done with practice. I'm ready to talk some Star Wars.
Yes, sir. It's been a good couple weeks. We had a lot of just technical stuff come up, and then Alec had to take like a week off for getting some stuff settled back home. So we're definitely ready to get back into the pod game. Today we got a really fun one. Like Alex said, we've been thinking about this for a bit now, regarding Anakin Skywalker. It's always a really fun time to look at his journey towards the dark side and off the Jedi path. So we're definitely gonna talk about some key moments from that story, as well as talk a little bit about the Chosen One prophecy, who we think the Chosen One is, who technically the canon one is. So yeah, we're going to get into that tonight. So are we ready, boys?
Yeah, man.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah.
All right. So I'll go ahead and kind of start this thing going a little bit. And my biggest thought when it came to this concept, was what perspective are you going to look at this at? So to me, when you ask, what was the breaking point of Anakin falling to the dark side? To me, that's more along the lines of one individual, point in time, but you were, I think, in what we talked about earlier, you were coming at it at a little bit different aspect of some of the events or the progression or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do think his process was definitely gradual. Honestly, It started when Qui-Gon brought him from Tatooine. I think that's when, because he brought him and Yoda told him he was too old. Yeah. So I think him being older than all the other younglings kind of started him down that path.
Well, right there, he starts his whole journey in a negative light right away.
With mistrust. Right.
Nick, you go ahead and share your thought a little bit, because I have an idea we can come back to with that.
Well, to talk about your main point, like you mentioned, you came at it from one single point in the timeline that solidified it, I guess. But right. I guess when I was thinking about how the episode should go, or just the conversations that really came to my mind, like you said, I don't think Anakin's turn to the dark side was one specific moment. He was groomed for that role his whole life. I'm sure when we go over these plot points, there's going to be one that sticks out. We're okay, that solidified it. But right. I think as a whole, we could talk about the big events that led to so much mistrust, so much anger and hate. So that's the way I was thinking of it.
No doubt. It's interesting because yes, you're completely right. He was groomed for it, but you look at what makes people behave in individual events over their entire lives as human beings. It's interesting what that moment would have been for Anakin, because people can suffer in life and still be okay. People can go through traumatic events and be okay. But sometimes there's things people can't recover from. Right.
Yeah.
So I'm curious what you might think that one individual event could be from Anakin's perspective. To me, that sticks out the most was Shmii's death.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think people don't recover from losing a loved one in an instant. Right.
Well, that goes back to me saying he was too old, because he actually had a relationship with his mother rather than the other younglings who were taken when they had just been born. They never had a relationship with their parents. All they knew was the council. So Anakin knew his mom. He had a relationship with her. So losing her really affected him in a worse way than any of the other younglings, because they didn't know their parents.
Right.
I think when you look back at his whole story, yeah, you can see how even from the first time, like you said, that he was at the temple, it started off on the wrong foot. when I was thinking about the events that led to the dark side, the first one I came up with was him killing the Tusken Raiders and losing his mom, because that one I think was the first real moment where you saw all this anger, this hatred for these creatures, and he felt like he just failed, and it begs the question, why couldn't he have gone? Why couldn't the Jedi have let him go back sooner?
Right.
It was like 10 years.
Or why would they not just help her?
Help her? I'm not saying move her to Coruscant so Anakin can be with her. Nothing like that, because he
get
can't do
her
that.
somewhere
But
safe.
get her to safety. It's
just a decent thing to do.
Yes, and you can get on a whole other topic of the extent the Jedi Council did for his turn to the dark side.
Right.
That is a topic in itself. And we're going to cover that a little bit too today, but that's a whole nother thing. Like, they failed him. It was pretty much the council behind his turn right after Palpatine,
Mm-hmm.
It was crazy. So yeah, like I mentioned, my first scene was when he had to slaughter the Tusken Raiders and try to save Shmii. That was the first time, man.
Right. Literally, like, I just can't get over the fact that even happened. Like, that should never have happened.
No.
You're completely right. Like, I think it kind of just goes in to show how, I don't want to say wrong, because wrong's not the right way to describe it. Both the Sith, the Jedi, the Council, yada yada yada, look at these events and, like, no one's right.
No.
You know what I'm saying? So it's really interesting to see the people that, like, kind of fall in the middle somewhere, and how relatable that is to life and big decisions and traumatic events and so on and so forth.
Everybody's flawed. That's pretty much the thing. Like, even the Jedi Council, as pure as everybody wants to think that they are, they still have their flaws. They're not perfect. They still make mistakes, stuff like that.
Right. All right. So if you had to go top 3 events in his life.
Well, hold on. I got like 6-ish.
Okay.
I got like 6-ish. Some we can talk about briefer than others, but they all are situations that I feel like are a big part of this conversation.
All right.
I definitely think there was one key moment in the Clone Wars that progressed him down this path. You got it. Come on. It's a big one.
In Clone Wars?
Yeah, in Clone Wars.
Are you talking about Ahsoka leaving?
I was just
Is that what you were going to say? All right. It was a tie. Yeah. That one.
I actually think you said it before I did, but
for me, it was like you were saying it at the same time. That was funny.
That's awesome.
But yeah, dude, think of how like crucial
abandonment.
Well, yeah,
in a sense.
I think his words say it best. He said, what choice did she have but to leave? The first time there was any doubt about her, the council turned their back on her. And
because that was him in a sense as well. Like, they were very relatable in a lot of ways.
Yeah, but he tried to get her to stay. I think he took it more. He definitely did take her leaving very personal. Very personal. That's how we can see in season 7 the way he reacts to seeing her. It's like, I don't want to say a daughter, but like a little sister, like something like that is a very tight-knit bond.
Relate that to their fight in Rebels. Like when Anakin comes back for that. Speaking of which, I haven't really showed this off yet. My sister painted me this bottle, this Darth Vader bottle.
It's dope.
And it's the Ahsoka Vader fight on the other side. Anyways, sorry. That 3 seconds that he briefly comes back and calls out for Ahsoka and you see the blue eye, that was more than just like a close loved one. That was literally like the tightest bond you could possibly see. That is pure sadness and pure agony in that 3 second clip. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
just to clarify, Alex talking about their fight in Rebels where they were at the Sith temple, and during the fight, part of Vader's mask got
damaged,
and you can just see his eye. And you're right, that is an emotional scene because that is the closest we've come to. Well, for me personally, being able to picture Anakin as Darth Vader, because you still picture them as two different people almost. So that's the moment where like they both look so, you can tell it's Anakin, right. And that's what makes it so personal, is that it's not Vader saying you will die or pretty much I will kill you. It's Anakin saying it. And that really sticks with you from there.
Dude, that honestly might be my favorite scene in Star Wars now, to be
It's up
completely
there.
honest, dude. Ooh.
Oh,
It's a heart-wrenching one,
Dude,
definitely.
it's just perfect. I wouldn't. Oh God, it's phenomenal. Anyways, Colt, what other events you got?
Well, one of the ones that I was gonna say is Mace Windu's mistrusting him and not letting him in the council. Like
Right.
yeah.
he put all this effort into the Jedi Order from the Clone Wars. He was pretty much their top general, and after all of that, they still don't let him in the council, and he obviously did not like that.
Isn't it interesting? Did you guys have any example during Revenge of the Sith, Attack of the Clones, for instance, did you guys ever find hate for people the characters on the council?
Definitely.
Literally, because Colt, I know you love Mace, but were there times when you're watching, they're like, dude, screw that guy.
Well, when I first watched the Revenge of the Sith, that was my exact feeling. I was like, why is he doing this to Anakin? What's the reasoning behind not letting him in the council? But as I've watched everything else, I just started like Mace Windu because he was a badass. But yeah, my initial reaction was definitely like, what the heck? Like, why not let him in? He's the most talented of the Jedi. He is obviously powerful, but I was doing other research and I saw that there's like 6 other councils, which I had no idea. I don't know if you guys.
What do you mean?
There's in Coruscant. There's multiple Jedi councils. Like the one Anakin and Obi-Wan went to, that's the High Council. But there are other sub councils.
Okay,
which I had never known about. I had never even heard about those.
Yeah, that's deep.
That's deep.
I wouldn't say lore, but they don't really go into it too much in the movies.
Yeah,
right.
no.
Yeah. I think going off of Mace Windu's and just the council's mistrust, like you said, Colton, they didn't grant him the rank of master, and this was after they did all the stuff to him when he was a kid. Mistrust from the start. But when Obi-Wan was going to confront Grievous, Anakin should have been there. There's no reason why he shouldn't have gone with Obi-Wan, especially after everything from the Clone Wars, and they just shut him down in an instant. They said he wasn't experienced enough or something like that. That's ridiculous.
That is ridiculous. Literally, he's known as the best of all of you.
It's sad.
Among the entire the whole galaxy believes this.
Imagine how easy that fight
except
would
the
have
one
been.
person that it matters to, or the handful of people that it actually should matter to.
Yeah.
Like, imagine how crazy that fight would be if we saw a live action Anakin Obi-Wan versus Grievous.
That'd be dope.
Amazing.
We should. I'll comment on Star Wars theory. Yo, fan fiction. Anakin goes with Obi-Wan to confront Grievous. That'd be dope.
That would be dope.
That'd be sick. So stepping back to the beginning of Revenge of the Sith, I think obviously the Dooku killing was
the beheading.
Yeah, that was when you knew he just abandoned the Jedi Code in a snap, because of Palpatine's influence. He knew it was wrong, but he did it anyways.
Right, because of Palpatine's influence. The thing about why again Anakin's an interesting character is he was very wholeheartedly in his beliefs. What he thought was right, he did. Okay.
Yeah.
But he didn't believe in the ways of the council so much. That was such a hatred of his, right? That it was easily exposed, and then it prioritized over his knowing, his want to do good and not behead Dooku. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think that just shows how powerful that hatred really was to begin with. That again is rooted from people just not trusting him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's sad to talk about it like this. His life could have gone in such a different direction. But
dude, imagine if someone's listening to this out of context. Geez, what's going on with this guy?
If you don't know what we're talking about, for sure. Dude, what about when it's they didn't put trust in him when they needed to, and then they put too much trust in him for the wrong types of things because they ask him to spy on Palpatine. They feel comfortable enough to
let him venture on his own.
Yeah, well,
in uncharted waters.
Yeah, they can't let him on the council, but they can ask him to commit treason to the Chancellor. Like, that's nuts.
Especially, no, because what I find hard, like, why that was even a mistake in the first place, too, is because it was obvious they were close.
Yeah.
So, like, someone you're starting to kind of be, buddies with over time, like, oh, hey, go betray that guy.
Yeah. But you have to also remember is that on the flip side of that, he's the closest one. So he could find out the most info, but what do we think is the next one?
I guess you could eventually say, like, the final moments of losing Padme.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep, because I was thinking of
like that's down to that's literally the wire. Like it's like boom, gone.
Or you could say his dreams about losing Padme because that made him that made him fearful.
That's when it really spiraled.
Definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's when he went to Palpatine for guidance and actually asked him to help him guide through a situation. And you get the story. Have you ever heard of Darth Plagueis? Blah blah blah.
Right.
That stuff.
Yeah.
And that's when he started to really wonder about the powers of the dark side.
Well, dude, the thing about it's right in Yoda's whole speech. Fear is a path to the dark side. Mm-hmm. He was terrified of losing his wife.
Exactly.
So you understand why they say you have no attachments, but it shouldn't be like you're just not allowed to have attachments. They have to realize that they're sentient beings. Attachments are part of life.
Right.
Like, what about the attachment to your master or your Padawan? Yeah, it's easy to rejoice in the Force, yes, but you still want to protect them. So I feel like if those rules, the whole Jedi Code, if it wasn't so strict as it is, because there's no swaying.
Well, that's why I like Qui-Gon Jinn so much. He kind of was one of the main guys to divert from the Jedi Code, not in a big way, but like in a smaller way where he wanted to bring on Anakin almost as like his son. But
right. And it goes back to like the whole thing. If Qui-Gon would have died, odds are Vader was less likely to become a thing, is because he was so willing and so open to make those adjustments for that person. And they would have just clicked so well together.
Definitely.
I think that's what really makes the scene on Mortis very powerful, is because the last time we see Qui-Gon and Anakin interact is when he tells him to hide in the ship. So he gets in the Naboo starfighter, single cab one, the yellow one, obviously. When he hops in that's the last time. And then you get to the Mortis arc in the Clone Wars where Qui-Gon has mastered the living force, the secret to pretty much immortality.
Right.
So he comes back to see Anakin while he's on this, pretty much the core of the universe or at least the galaxy is Mortis. You have this father, daughter, son, and the son shows him he's going to be Vader. And you see, back to the main point, was you see Qui-Gon speaking with Anakin at a very old age, talking about his role as the chosen one, asking him if he believes that he is. And it's just very powerful seeing them connect again.
Dude, that arc is incredible.
It is. It is. I was watching some videos about it today, actually. Just some of those like edits with like cool music and stuff. It was really interesting just hearing what the father would say about him. I actually wrote one down. He says, "Leave and your selfishness shall haunt you and the galaxy." Because remember, like that was when the father was wanting, it said that the chosen one would replace him and bring balance to the Force. So he's telling Anakin, I'm dying. You need to stay here. You're the chosen one. So that definitely played a big part of it. Although they erased the stuff about him knowing he's going to be Vader.
I know they said like he literally saw the future. Like there was no way around it at that point. Yeah. I'm curious if something could have been done if he would have known. The thing is, like Obi-Wan would have known right then. Because like he was like when he found out what was happening, he was starting to turn.
Yeah.
like his eyes were orange or yellow and all that was happening. Obi-Wan could have got out of there and just, hey boys, we got an issue to take care of.
Yeah. Jeez.
Could have shut it down real quick.
What?
Right.
So he could have shut down the situation really fast before
You think
freaking
they'd like to try?
Empire and Death Star nonsense.
Definitely. So do we have any more from his turn? Like, Alec, well, we didn't talk about what you think is the true turning point. Are you saying it was on Mustafar?
I think the events that made it so that there was no going back was definitely Padme on Mustafar.
You don't think it's him killing Mace Windu?
What do you mean? Like he was like when he was officially like Anakin was dead.
Sith.
Padme.
Really?
You really don't think it was Mace? After he killed Mace Windu, he went and slaughtered all the younglings.
Well, Andy just killed many Jedi at the temple.
Exactly.
The thing is, there's still
And
Star Wars is about hope.
yeah,
Okay. If Padme was alive, there would still be some sort of
I
hope
agree with
left
that.
in him.
yeah,
I agree with that for sure.
As soon as she died, everything was dead.
And from a literal standpoint, right after he kills Windu, Sidious sits him down, and you are now called Darth Vader. Like it was literally told him, this is when you turned. You are now Darth Vader after killing this master.
No, I agree with you.
Yeah.
He is a Sith as of that point, but when I think there's literally none of him left,
I agree.
had to have been, because like, let's say Padme was still alive, there was a potential in there, even if it's a 0.01% chance of it happening, that Obi-Wan could go and figure it out, and maybe fight him and kill him, and maybe there's a moment of weakness where like he gives in to Obi-Wan, or I don't know, it could have been a million things. I'm getting at.
Or even if Padme was alive, she could have just been like, screw all this. Let's go to a different planet and start a life together. Screw the Jedi, screw the Sith.
That's what she said.
Exactly.
Right? She said, leave all this behind.
Yeah, that could have happened.
It could have. You think, bringing it back to the moment Padme died, as long as Padme's alive, I definitely think there was hope. And he eventually did turn back to the light. So the whole time there was still hope. But before Darth Vader was officially created and wreaking havoc in the galaxy, I think there still would have been a chance with her for Anakin to come back.
Completely agreed.
And do you think, in what ways do you think that he fulfilled his job as the chosen one? Because do you believe he is the chosen one, right? Like,
all right, we're getting into
it.
All
right, here's the second part.
Alec, why don't you go ahead?
I'm thinking we're all coming at this from the same angle.
Yeah, I think so. But
I can potentially counter that. But anyways, go ahead and get into it.
You got it.
I mean,
the floor is yours.
We're all thinking Anakin's the chosen one, like 100%. However, I can see why people would think it could be Rey.
Yeah.
Like by textbook.
Well, there's an argument. There's an argument for Rey, Luke, and Anakin. There's an argument for all of them.
I completely agree.
But when you look at what the prophecy states and what happened, all of Star Wars, it's left up for interpretation.
Mm-hmm. And do you think Rey's storyline could have involved a different prophecy, like as Anakin was the chosen one in that time? Could Rey have been the chosen one in her time?
Well, that's also a big conversation, because a lot of people, I hear people talking about how the chosen one comes around once in a generation. So I don't think there will be enough time between there for her to be another chosen one. Like Anakin's one calling, his chosen one was to destroy the Sith and bring balance to the Force. Anakin, as a being, that was his role in life. But Rey was a much different story. She almost had more control over her path, if that makes sense.
Right.
Yes, there could be another chosen one in a different generation, but I think as a whole, it has to be Anakin in this
period of time.
Mm-hmm. Well, in Anakin's generation, he was the chosen one from when Qui-Gon Jinn found him up until the point that he died. And then Rey is considered the next generation. No?
Yeah, but I when I say generation, I don't mean like father to son. I think a bigger gap, more of.
I understand.
Or like generation in a period of time, like no, Nick, I agree with what you're saying on that. I'm with you 100%. Not enough has changed yet for it to really be a new period of time. You can talk generation being like High Republic to a huge jump into like the current council or whatever. Like that's a huge generation gap right there. Many events have happened in between that. Not enough events have happened in between Return of the Jedi and the Last Skywalker.
Rise of Skywalker.
Jesus. Wow. Rise of Skywalker. Oh, wow.
It happens. The Last Skywalker. You
The
just mixed
Last
7
Skywalker.
and you just mixed
I just
8 and
mixed
9
8 and
together.
9. Yeah.
See, what sucks is I wish we disagreed. Like
I
I
know.
wish somebody truly believed it was Luke, because I wrote my notes like somebody might. So I have all this stuff backing up Anakin because I don't know.
So I have a scenario in which Luke could be considered the chosen one. He was the one who enforced Vader to come back to the light. He was the catalyst that like inflicted all these events to happen for Vader to return back to the light, for him to kill Palpatine, for him to take his helmet off and breathe his last breaths as a Jedi. I wouldn't consider him a Jedi, but he was back to his loving self. Like, let me look upon you with my own eyes in that sense.
It's powerful.
It's very powerful.
See, the thing that again makes it Anakin is originally the only thing we knew about the prophecy would be that they would destroy the Sith and bring balance to the Force. And at that point, Vader was the one. Luke was not about to destroy the Sith. Yes, he helped get to this point, but Vader, before the sequel events, he killed the Sith. He killed the Sith, brought balance to the Force, so that completed his journey as the chosen one. But then you have the events of Rey and Palpatine coming back, so that's when you have to look at the chosen one prophecy a lot deeper. And they mention it in Master and Apprentice, the book, which helps go a lot deeper into it, which is really interesting.
I need to start reading the books. I need a hobby.
They're fun. They're really fun. I just finished Dooku Jedi Lost. It was so good because Qui-Gon was in it, Yoda was in it, Asajj, Sifo Dyas. It really showed kind of Dooku, the same process Anakin went along. The council failed Dooku as well. So that led to his turn too. So it was interesting hearing another side of that. But let's get back to the chosen one prophecy. The fulfillment of an ancient prophecy foretold the end of the Sith, but it never predicted the end of darkness. So I don't know. What do you make of that?
Well, as in the real world, no matter who, like, say the U.S. goes and like hunts down a dictator, somebody's going to take his place. Like, their morals are not gone, but that leader is gone.
Nobody's ever really gone.
Yeah, exactly. So in a sense, the Sith was destroyed, but their ideals weren't.
Well,
and they were destroyed. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, what you were about to say, like Maz said, it takes many forms. The Sith, the Empire, the First Order.
Light cannot exist without darkness.
Exactly.
So like it'll never be. No, I know. Like, seriously, that concept of that like is a thing. So like,
clearly because the universe isn't perfect. For the darkness to be gone, the universe would have to be perfect, and it's not a perfect thing. So there will always be darkness. There will always be light. But where there's more serenity is where it's balanced.
Right.
So it goes on. It says the moment between breaths is the balance of the fourth. The fourth. The balance of the Force between life and death, rest and action, serenity and passion, hope and despair. So it's nuts.
I think that honestly sums up Anakin's last moments perfectly.
Oh yeah.
In a sense.
Well, I also think it
was his last breath at this last time experiencing that.
And it was serenity because he got to see his son without the mask for the first time.
Right.
He actually got to look at him as Anakin and not Darth Vader.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Pretty crazy stuff. It says, Only through the sacrifice of many Jedi will the Order cleanse the sin done to the nameless. The danger of the past is not past, but sleeps in an egg. So that's what the Chosen One prophecy says.
And doesn't Vader's like chamber kind of look like an egg, like when you see it on Mustafar?
I don't know. I haven't really looked at
It's
it.
right.
Like
it's
that.
right behind you.
Behind me.
Nick?
Oh, that chamber. I thought you meant like his palace. But
No.
damn, that's a good point, bro.
Like his
For anybody
chamber.
who is listening and not watching, where I have the Funko Pop moment of Anakin under the Vader helmet, where the chamber is like lowering his helmet onto his head.
Mhm.
So it is kind of egg shaped. That's weird. Here, let me read it again just so we can get a better idea. Only through sacrifice of many Jedi.
Check.
Order 66. Will the Order cleanse the sin done to the nameless?
That's essentially pay for your crime.
The danger of the past is not past, but sleeps in an egg. So I think that's what they're talking about with, I don't know. I take that as Palpatine because yes, he's gone, but he's not gone. It's in an egg. It's growing, but you don't really know it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I just thought that was kind of cool that it said egg and his chamber looks like an egg.
That's funny. I mean, it could. Again, it's all open for interpretation because the Chosen One is about him, so it might very well be along those lines.
You know, it'd be funny. You know how people do those like spoiler-free whatever. So it could when Infinity War came out, it was a picture of Squidward. It was a picture of you know what I'm saying? Random.
Oh yeah.
It's like random things, but it describes moments from the movie or whatever.
No,
someone watched it, they could like do the spoiler free of just like hard boiled eggs or something. I don't know.
Oh my gosh. That's stupid, dude. My goodness. An egg. No one would understand that because it's not shown that it's an egg. It'd have to be an egg to make it to one of those posts. My goodness. All right, let's get into the second part of this. When the egg cracks, it will threaten the galaxy entire. When the Force itself sickens, past and future must split and combine.
Huh.
Yeah. What do we think?
Okay, so that last part, the past and present.
Must split.
So, and combine. So, as you said, Nick, you think it's about Palpatine, like, growing out of the egg, and I think the past and present, like, so Kylo Ren is based on the past, like, he wants to do the same things as Darth Vader, while Rey is, she wants to become a Jedi, and at the end, they work together to defeat Sidious. I mean, that's how I interpreted that.
Oh, definitely. But I still think that this was written to reinforce that Anakin is the Chosen One.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
A Chosen One shall come, born of no father, and through him will ultimate balance in the Force be restored. So when he died, there was balance in the Force.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But it was in this egg and it cracked. So I think the Chosen One, it's almost like a cycle. That's what Star Wars is. When one darkness dies, regardless if it's the same, quote, darkness or not, being Palpatine, it's always this cycle of good versus evil. The evil will always creep back in, but in the end, light and balance exist and will always not take over, but be at the center of that.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
I don't know. It's definitely a hard one to interpret. It's a pretty deep prophecy.
But that's why Star Wars is so fun to talk about, man.
Definitely. Alec, you look like you have something to say, buddy.
Nothing. I'm still laughing at the egg thing.
Oh my goodness. Maybe someone who listens to the show will make a video about ours. We'll make a post about ours. Episode 25 of Carbonite Convos Podcast. They'll put an egg.
Yes.
They put something else. I don't know.
Someone do it, please.
Oh gosh.
That'd be awesome.
Follow us on social media at Carbonite Convos. All right, but what else do you have on the prophecy or Anakin's turn?
Dude, it's honestly just an incredible experience, and it's been said a million times. It's just so incredibly well written and explained, and and told as a story, I wouldn't change a thing about it.
I mean, I wouldn't
Well,
say
unless
that.
unless not making it
change
happen.
I would change a lot. Every time I watch Anakin about to cut Mace Windu's hand off, I'm just like, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. Every time he does it, and every time I can't believe it.
After the 300th time watching it, just still in disbelief.
Revenge of the Sith hits different.
It does.
It hits different.
It's definitely my favorite prequel.
Absolutely.
What's your favorite movie again? A New Hope? Empire Strikes Back.
Empire Strikes Back. I was about to say Return of the Empire, but that was...
Oh my god.
I did that
I am
earlier.
doing a Star Wars show with two fans. Alec, what did you screw up earlier?
Last Skywalker.
The Last
Skywalker and the Empire Returns. I'm like, who are, or the Empire, whatever.
Return of the Empire.
Like, who are these guys? What are they doing to me?
I've had a long day.
Empire Strikes Back. Alec, what's yours again?
My favorite?
Yes.
Oh, it's probably Rogue One.
Rogue One, your ultimate favorite.
Dude, I love it.
Wow. Oh, I love it too. It's so up there for me.
All right, if we're going trilogy though, it has to be Revenge of the Sith.
Really?
It has to be. And to be honest, bro, I love the last
You just did
the Rise.
it
I just did it again.
Man.
The Rise of Skywalker. Jeez, that's number 2 or 3 for me as well.
Really?
I love it.
That's surprising.
I know.
I love it too, but it's not even.
I don't
close
love
to
The Force
top.
Awakens or The Last Jedi, but
I love The Force Awakens.
The Force Awakens.
I like The Force Awakens.
Great.
I don't love The Last Jedi, but I love The Rise of Skywalker.
I remember being in the movie theater when I saw Force Awakens and I started crying.
Oh,
Just
my favorite scene from Star Wars is the Rey moment where the lightsaber flings back into her hand. That's my favorite moment. That's when I was the Jedi live. Star Wars lives on. Back in 2015, like before all this was announced, all this was happening. Right then, I was, I think, 18 years old, 19 years old or something like that. I was like, holy crap, the last time Star Wars came out in the movie theaters was 2005. I was like 10. I was 9 years old. So I was right when the lightsaber flings into her hand, I realized Star Wars is back. It's here.
I still wish they would have done more with Finn.
Yeah, that's a whole other conversation.
Oof. That is a very spicy topic.
Which they should have. Dude, my all-time favorite is the OG, A New Hope, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's just something about the movie that started it all. For a franchise that means so much to me, I can't help but not have the first movie be number 1 for me. Easily right behind it is Revenge of the Sith. But man, I love A New Hope.
Absolutely.
Can't get enough of it.
You really can't argue against that.
No, you can't.
No. You guys gotta watch Galaxy. I can't remember what it's called actually right now. I'll put the link in the bio. You guys gotta watch the documentary on Disney Plus. It's like 2.5 hours long, but it's like the making of Star Wars. It's so interesting.
I watched it actually.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I did.
That's so
I
cool.
haven't seen it.
Alec, you gotta watch it. It's a few years old, but still it
just shows
really
you how much of a genius George Lucas is.
And how much
just genius.
Dude, the odds were stacked against this franchise from moment one,
This man put all of his stock, I wouldn't say stock, but the only money he was going to get out of the movie was from freaking merchandise, and it becomes the most profitable merchandise movie in like history. Like, what are the odds of that happening? He's just a genius.
Well, not even that. He just believed in it.
Exactly.
He believed in it. Oh, man, he's on another level. Dave Filoni right behind him. I love it. George Jr.
Lil G.
The Lil G. My goodness. All right, guys. So we don't want to, keep anybody too long, but we can't go another episode without at least briefly talking about a couple pops that went out. So if you're not a collector, we really appreciate you being on. This was a really fun episode to talk about. We don't want to keep you too much longer, so thank you for coming. And those of you who are collectors, you're welcome to stay for another couple minutes. Alec, what do we have that came out? Let's talk.
Well, first off, the Funko Fair or whatever was huge.
It sucked.
Yeah, all the stuff that we were interested in, we already knew about. I did just pre-order the entire Miles, all the new Miles ones.
That wasn't Toy Fair.
It was part of it. It was like released with that.
Yeah, I guess.
I actually just finished playing through the Miles game for the first time, and immediately pre-ordered the pops.
Jeez, you went off.
I did.
Don't get me wrong. I'm excited for the Star Wars ones.
Right.
But like you said, we already knew that list was coming, and there's really no exclusives. You know, I'm gonna get both Rays. I will get Palpatine. I will get Ben Solo. But a 10-inch Babu Frick, that's what you're gonna give us?
You got heated about the Luke.
What Luke?
The remake of the
Yes,
Luke.
the other Toy Fair. So for those of you who don't know, they released a pop of Luke's. I'm looking behind me to see if I have the pop out, and it doesn't look like I do. I have him in a box over here, though. It's the Luke Skywalker and his snow gear. So the original box is blue. It's an old pop, and the base is black. They release an Amazon exclusive Toy Fair one. The base is white. The box is, I think, white, or it's a different color. Same exact pop, so it has the old Luke. It has like the old design to it, where they weren't that high quality.
It's the mold. It's the
same exact pop, and it just comes with a pin. And I'm like, why are you making that? Make something new.
Right.
We know they're saving up for a couple years to make a 40th anniversary of Return of the Jedi, but dude, these last few Star Wars releases have not been fantastic.
No.
We got to get some new Mandalorian stuff soon.
Season
Speaking
2
of
stuff.
Mandalorian pops, I finally started my collection.
Our man's finally he committed a sin. Oh my goodness.
And then I got a few Spider-Man ones for my boy Alec. Gotta represent.
He's going down the path.
Buddy, it's a dark path.
I can tell you for a fact, I'm not getting as deep as you both.
We said that too.
I'm not.
That's funny.
We literally said we can't do it. We said the same thing. If it's there, you find a way.
Yep. You're not wrong, man. They're so fun. All right. Any more pops that came out? There were the Infinity Warps, which again I'm very disappointed with because they already had the Cap one, the Iron Man one, and the Spider-Man one. Yeah. They all three are just they're slightly different. They
have glow. They're glow.
So were the other ones.
Are they?
Yes, I have the Captain America one right here. It's glow in the dark.
I did not know that. Is the Arachnite glow?
I don't know.
I do like the new Arachnite better. I like to stay away from mini on stand as physically possible.
Really, I love those.
The leaping ones, I love them, but they just take up a little bit more room. Mm-hmm. And they don't fit quite as well in there. So I wish I could switch them, but it is what it is. They're both really dope, but there was no need really to do it again.
Yeah, I don't know. I was very disappointed because we got more Infinity Warps, and then we didn't get some very exclusive Star Wars ones. So that always sucks. It was definitely disappointing to see all these glow-in-the-dark Ben Kenobi pops going out. Everybody's posting pictures of them. They're beautiful. The glow is incredible. I wanted to win that pop so bad. That is a grail for me, but they're like $400, and Jesus. That is not. I am not even getting close to that.
No, it's not worth it.
No. In the end, we'll watch. One day we're gonna buy a $400 pop. We're gonna look back and say, "Hey, we have it." It's just like Colton saying, "I'm not gonna get that far." That's the equivalent we're at. We're never gonna spend that much. We're gonna look back. Yep, you're gonna do it.
Yep.
Goodness. So I was just disappointed
in 10 years or whatever. Okay. Yeah. That situation is going to come up. You're going to call me and you're just like,
I did it. Oh my goodness. It's just because up to this point I had all the glows except the Darth Vader, which again, like $500. So I have Ahsoka, Qui-Gon, Yoda, which they're not terribly difficult to find, but I wanted Obi-Wan in there to complete that because he goes with all three. Ben really doesn't, but still, the thought does. Anything else before we head out?
Nah, man.
I know there were some new Black Series. We don't really cover Black Series on this channel, though, but nothing really stuck out to me other than that.
No, I mean, I'm honestly, I'm a little happy that there wasn't much. My
Yes,
my wallet's happy.
Yeah.
That nothing really came out. But
You got to find the silver lining for sure. It does help you save money.
does.
But I do hope they come out with a good exclusive soon. But we don't want to, bore everybody. We've talked enough about Funko Pops. I think that there wasn't really much to talk about in the Star Wars Marvel sense. But like always, guys, we really appreciate you coming along for this ride. Alec, Colton, man, it was fun. It was
always fun.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. It's always fun talking Funko Pops. And now Colton is going down the dark side. Well, the dark path.
I gotta show my favorite
side.
one, the insta-kill Spider-Man with the Infinity Gauntlet.
It's great.
Yep.
That's a great. Yeah, that one's great.
I have
Love
it in
this
my Endgame box. Well, display.
Nice.
All right, guys. But again, thank you. Don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube. Give us a thumbs up if you like this video or even decently enjoyed it. If you didn't like it,
Please.
Still put a thumbs up if you want.
Begging. Just give it a thumbs up if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. Follow us on all podcasts and social media outlets. But until our WandaVision Episode 5 reaction, may the Force be with you guys.
Remember, the Force will be with you.